Michael D. Leonardo, also known as Mikey Scars. The government says he's a high-ranking member of the Gambino crime family.
No excuses with Michael D. Leonardo. I'm your host, RJ Roger. We are live on YouTube, brother,
and Patreon.
and Patreon.
Yeah, how's everybody out there? Got a good little crew already. I see somebody here, an old friend of mine, Michael Lambert, who is in Venezia. He's in Venice. Great for you to drop in. Thank you, Michael. Hope you and your wife are doing great. Michael's a world traveler. He goes all over, every country.
Yeah.
So great to see you here. Been a while. And James is taking a tan today. He's in Fort Lauderdale on the beach. I'm gonna try to get to you. Who else we got?
If anybody that has questions, it's easier to get your question answered if you put the word question before what you write, or just maybe put a series of question marks. I don't read everything in the chat. I spot check. I look for like a question mark or something that's easy. So you're making it more likely to get your question answered if you put some question marks, like a series of question marks or the word question. All right.
Yeah, Chris Doherty here from Scotland. Yeah, we've got some people from around the globe. Very good. Very good. Also, I just want to make RJ and I and Mikey. Mikey can't make. He's babysitting today, so he's got 3 little Indians running around. Hard for him to get on without noise in the background. But I'd like to preface this show by saying, please don't donate. If you want to do anything, sign up or sign somebody else up onto Patreon. And everybody knows what goes on Patreon. We have our own little group there. Very tight-knit group. Have some fun. So don't give us any money. Just like I said, just go to Patreon or sign somebody else up. That'll be a reward enough for us.
You know, you might be the first person ever in the history of mob genre to start a show and say, please don't donate.
Yeah, we don't need the money.
No, we're good. But Patreon's $9.99. Join us on Patreon. That's a donation in itself. So
yeah,
that's
on that show and other stuff. You're going to say, well, it sounds hypocritical. You're taking $10 a month. Well, it does other things. We do a lot of meet and greets. No excuses, pays each and every time. Whether it be dinner, drinks, cigars, all of the above. We do a lot of stuff. And we sponsor a lot of people. There's been people that give us hundreds of dollars on here, and we sponsor 20 or 30 people at a time, a week. So, it has a purpose. Thank you.
Our meet and greets come with no price. So when you come, we do a meet and greet. It's not like you were charged to come. Michael, you got to be over 10,000 in meet and greet funds by now.
Easy. But I just want to say, I got jumped by James Ramps of Wall Street. He's on here as Ramps of Wall Street. James and Joe LaFranchi a couple of times got me. And it's very hard to get me on the check. Very hard. And James has done it, and Joe LaFranchi several times. And there's been other guys that have tried to fight me for the check. Rocco. Maybe I'll meet Rocco this week, and there's a couple other people I'm trying to get to. I'm just barreled in with a lot of stuff right now. It's not snobbish stuff, not being a snob. It's just that work and scheduling is a little tight. But I'm going to try to get to as many as I can, especially you, James, on the East Coast.
So join us on Patreon, guys, and we'll be happy to have you. We do a lot of cool stuff. You can make phone calls, and we talk on the phone. We really get to know you. I mean, I get over 100 messages every day from people because they have my direct number. Michael does too. So join us on Patreon, and it's like we're not just saying like the Patreon AC family. It's like a real community. Michael, you would agree, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
there's been a lot of relationships. Just to repeat, been a lot of relationships that have been made off our channel where people contact each other. Really, really good to see.
yeah.
No way. Norwegian Day Parade was at 1:00 today in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. You're right. Norway said, tell your wife, Happy Norwegian Day. So thank you, Norway.
So guys, if you saw the last show, people liked it. I was a little nervous about putting that show out because, in this genre, I'm kind of taking a hard position. You see my books back there. That was kind of the theory, the concluding theory in my book. What goes up comes down, and we talked about the downside of it a little bit. So guys, you can ask any question you want, but if you watch the last show and you have any questions for Michael that you want to ask, drop them in and we'll ask them. But when I was preparing for this show, Michael, I thought about a show that you and I did. And, let's say from a religious perspective, like God, right? We believe in God. And if you believe in God, you believe like God is the ultimate decider. He gives you life. He gives you death. He created everything. Whatever you're going to be, the theory behind God is that, God giveth, God taketh away, God give life, God takes life. He has the power over life and death, dominion over the earth. And in that last show, some of the things I was talking about is the boss's life, and then what is to follow a boss's life. And I was thinking about a clip that a show that we made before, and I want to play something here.
How long ago was the show?
It's the first show I ever did with you.
Oh, all right. On this channel or on your show?
My channel, but I moved it over to this channel.
Okay,
right?
just before you play that, there's a Sal Vattery. That's how you spell his name, of course. But Sal's grandfather was a very, very good friend of mine. He was with Paul Castellana, Tommy Bellotti for years, then Joe Watts. Very influential guy, really nice guy. Never got made. I was going to straighten him out. Eddie Garofalo told me hold up on it because Sally gave it to Eddie one time, and they had a falling out. But Sal, your grandfather, I know he talked about me. Even after I flipped, I don't know for a fact, but I know he spoke well about me. He was a good man. And go to sleep with that. Good man.
You ready?
Yep.
If you can't hear, say something, but I'm just going to assume you can.
No. Can't hear anything.
You can't hear?
Nothing. As a matter of fact, the film is like fragmented, stuttering, buffering. Not buffering, but stuttering. Like it's not playing clearly.
All right, let me try to pull it back up. Give me 1 second here.
All right, Leslie, we have a lady with us. No, I didn't have any interaction with Chinese gangs. No. Oh. Hey, Leslie, I seen a great movie years ago, Year of the Dragon. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it with Mickey Rourke. Excellent flick. How true the fact it is, I'm not sure, but there is definitely 2 super gangs in Chinatown at that time. That's right. And they were dangerous at one point. They were doing a lot of machine gun and everything like that in restaurants and stuff. But the excellent movie, if anybody wants to see it. Bomb. I should know a guy. I'm not going to out you if it's you. He used to use the term bomb all the time from Scarface. This is the first time I seen you on here. But if it's you, how you been, you and your family?
All right, we got some kind of new update on here. Why the audio's I want to play that so bad. I'll explain it. You talked about in one of our first show how whatever you're going to be in this life, your upward mobility or your downward, you said. That's how you said it. These are the guys that are going to decide it. The boss. It's going to be his decision. You make it very clear. You talked about before when the boss clicks his heels, everybody follows along, follows suit. Is when the boss walks in, the boss walked in. He's like, and I would say, I don't know of many of anything where someone truly gets to feel like God in the flesh, where you can decide life and death of a person, decide success or failure of a person. A person can pray, beg of the boss is one man. He's going, and you say it in that clip. The boss will decide your upward mobility or your downward, as you said it.
Unless you're a usurper, like John Gotti and some others, and say you're no more boss, so they take your life. But you're right.
As far as
the sitting boss has complete control over your life. Yes.
Is there anything else where you can think of? Because I can't even think of even like an American president doesn't have power to decide life and death. Go kill him. Go, like there's law systems that they're bounded by an American president. The boss of a mafia family is your god.
That's you got your black bag squad, so we don't know what really goes on with assassinations. We have checks and balances out in the open, and one of them is an assassination. One is not assassinations, but let's not be naive. And I'm not calling you naive.
Yeah,
just saying the process.
But yeah, but the way we're taught about it is there's some restrictions around all forms of power, but not in the mob family. The commission is, but as far as you and your family, there's one stop for you. Right. That's the boss. Mm-hmm. Like John Jr. said, if the chief says speak into a bug, you speak into a bug.
I didn't. He got mad at me. Let's go outside and take a walk. You're listening, John.
But the truth is, though, it's being a boss of the Gambino family, probably a feeling like nothing else. It's a world within the world. And in my theory on that last show, we talked about how the end is real bad. I identified 26 bosses that died in prison or died in jail. It was died in the street, you died in the prison cell. A lot of bosses doesn't end well for a boss. A boss's life, it's the highest point of life you'll ever feel. The power of life and death. You walk in, the whole world stops for you. But the end is not good. Yeah, and that was the theory in that last show.
You're on top, right? And there's no more top to go. There's only one way. That's down. Right? So you're right. I agree.
Is the up, the glitz, yes, your perspective, having the power of life and death, having the power of upward mobility, is the highest times, are they worth what will come at the lowest times?
If you believe in the life, absolutely. Absolutely. We can say this over and over. Not for all, but for many. People have taken it, and non-Italians also, that win that life. Like death penalty, electric chair. A lot of guys sit in prison today doing life. First step program. A lot of guys who never thought they were coming home have new life. They're coming home. They're going to see the world. They're going to walk on grass, as John Sr. would say. But there are guys that are going to die in jail still. So, and have. But those guys believe all the way. That's why they don't flip. That's why they get into life. It's no secret. There's no hand you a book and say, "Oh my God, I didn't know this chapter was in there. We got to go kill people." Or I have to show up every night at this place whether I like it or not. There's no surprises when you get into life. So it's eyes wide open. Sure, are there frauds in the life that think it's a club? Yeah, and are there guys that skate throughout that life, make a lot of money? So make a little bit of money, but live a great life for that life. Yeah. So there's different weights. Look, Philly Mordecai, we just talked about him. He died, right? And the other guy, 96 years old, never went to prison, never did time, rest or whatever early on. Lived a fruitful, great life as a wise guy. They went from his father and his grandfather before him, and maybe great grandfather. So there are guys who skate in their life, but when you get into that boss's position, like you said, it comes with a lot of weight. Comes with a lot of weight. It comes with a lot of real tough decisions, and not only life and death, the direction you take this family, and keeping people in line. The hammer was always, you could lose your life, screw up with the boss, screw up in the family. Remember, there's different terms for the boss, right? There's representant. It's a representative. It's not a time, infinite amount of time. It's when you're there. And then there's father of the family, right? Years ago, they used to call the house of. You're in the house. Your family's in the house. And the parent in the house, the father, the patriarch, is your father. And that's the boss, the representant, any other term you like attached to that. That's the guy's responsible for everybody in this family, with all the brotherhood underneath. So it comes with a lot of weight, that position. And most of the times, as you articulated, there are bad outcomes because you are dealing with a lot of criminals. And later on, a lot of the heavy-handed weight of the government. So yeah, it's a tough. I would have never wanted to be there. I said this many times. I said it in the street. Who the hell wants it? You know, who would want it? Not that I'm saying I was capable of being. I'm not. But if I was ever, asked to, I would have declined like I did other positions on the upward mobility end. Declined because it comes with a lot of weight. It's not that you may get arrested. You're going to get arrested anyway. You kill somebody as an associate, you kill somebody as a boss. Life is life is life. That's it. It don't matter. You can make a lot of money from associate all the way up to the boss. The money can be there if you're creative and you have the drive. You have the connections, you have the outlets to get there. But when you get to that position, you're responsible for everybody going down. I remember telling Junior one time, I wanted the old timers. I took Joe Brewster. I took Philly Mordecai. Later on, when Danny went to jail, I had the Lamadozas, Carmine Lamadozas brothers, Georgie Lamadoza, all older guys where I could go like this. At night, I could go home as a captain, put my head on the pillow, and I know these guys ain't making noise in the middle of the night, getting into all kinds of trouble. The younger guys have a lot of energy. So, for me, it was, John, give me the older guy. I take all the older guys. And but that was the way I looked at the life. I was always told, piano, piano, va lontano. You go slow, you'll last a long time. So, but the boss don't have that luxury. There's decisions with, let's say, our family, between 250 and 260, membership, made guys. And then there's a multitude of associates behind those made guys. So you're responsible for all of that. Look at what happened to Paul Castellano with the car case. He caught a car case. What does he know about the cars? Roy's doing it with his crew, right? But he was taking that pinch. Of course, you could take the pinch. So yeah, it comes with a lot. It comes with too much.
You said before that John knew what his fate was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
There was no question in your mind, and you don't even let people. One of the shows I remember we did where we had on John's lawyer, and he's a lawyer, he has to do his job, but he was kind of defending. I'm not sure that John. You said no. John killed Paul. We're not taking John's crowning jewel away from him. That was the statement, and John was proud to make that statement. John wouldn't want that taken away from him. But you get sentimental like I'll send you videos sometimes, and then when I edited that last show and put in like some of the funeral footage and stuff, sometimes you'll say, "Oh, it's hard for me to watch that," or "Man, it's hard for me to hear him." You don't like to watch his prison tapes. You always describe him as a lion in a cage. You always that's how you. He says, "RJ, you see how he's like fidgeting and he's like he wants to punch the glass." You said it before, like it's like putting the lion in a cage. And you say you always kind of struggle when you look at footage or you look at him in the position when he's compromised. But that position was what. But you say like John knew that was coming.
Yeah, 100%. It still doesn't, even though reality is coming, and he lived it to the end. So we not gonna take that away from him either, as the world knows. But the frustration part of it, what was going on, because he had no control anymore. He not even over his immediate family, and you can see the frustration. That's why if you watch John's body language in there, you'll see how irritated he is. It's like he wants to jump out of his skin. He has no control. When you have that much control your whole life, John was his own man his whole life. That's what made John John, right? John was born a leader. So it is hard to watch. Me personally, again, he's a murderer, drugs, all kinds, every other crime you can think of except for sex crimes, right? Everything else he did. We were in a crime family. But, not taking that away, again, that's where we were. But me personally, when I see him like that, it bothered me. Of course it did, because I really felt it again, and even with his faults, like people may like me with my faults, right? So, it's hard to take that away. I try to be as objective as possible when it comes to John. And I think I have been pretty objective on his shortcomings, because he was who he was. He was a brutal guy when he needed to be. So, and he led a brutal crew and changed it. I'm not going to say he changed the history of Cosa Nostra, but he put a major mark on it with the Paul hit and everything that followed. So, it is troubling at times that I could watch that.
Yeah.
Somebody donated $19. Give the spiel. Hurry up, listen, because maybe we have a lot of people on here. No.
Yeah, guys, you don't have to donate no money to the show. I think that's why that happens. It's like people are popping in. So from the time you said that until right now, like 140 people popped in. So they didn't hear your early spiel. But guys, you don't have to donate no money to the show. So save your money, and you're going to need it for these egg prices. Save your money. But if you would like to join us on Patreon, spend the $9.99. Come over to Patreon. I like Patreon. Michael likes Patreon, but he loves YouTube also. And if I had it my way, we would do mostly almost. When we're on YouTube, he's like, RJ, time for a YouTube show. But Patreon's a nice environment. You don't really get attacked for your comments. There's no fighting in the comment section. And people get along. People make friends. People meet up. We do meet and greet. So join us on Patreon. It's just $9.99. Don't donate your money to the show. So
I know who it is. I found the guilty party. Billy, you're still not getting a cigar for me.
Yeah.
I'll make it up to you. Thank you, Billy.
All right.
I'll sponsor 2 people. RJ and I'll sponsor 2 people.
Yeah, we'll give the money back away anyway. So if you give it to us, we're going to give it back to the viewers anyway.
Maybe we'll sponsor Tony Koresh. Tony, you on YouTube? You on Patreon? I see you here. If not, we'll sponsor you. I know you do. From Billy.
Michael, can you talk a little bit about how Gravano conducted himself when he held your induction ceremony?
Oh, he was good. Yep. Very good. You're sitting in that room, everything's overwhelming anyway. But he made it comfortable for me because I know him so long. But he was very good. Yep. Jackie did everything in the Italian when we had to speak in Italian, when he had to speak in Italian. Well, actually Sicilian. Jackie spoke fluent Sicilian. He was great. It was an honor. It was an honor then. Sure, you want to have the boss there, But we all understood why John wasn't in there.
Michael, if you were getting made and the guy was like, "Ouch," you think he would lose his? They would just say, "Nah, you're not for this life." When the fire is burning in my hand,
If he did that, he better say "ooh ha" and laugh like it was a joke. Got to be quick.
How about the poke, the blood? Ah.
That's what I'm saying.
Say this.
Yeah. Boy. I would be disqualified because I don't like anybody licking their fingers at the table. I have to get up and go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Was Carlo Gambino's brother a force? Wasn't he a big junk pusher?
Oh yeah, Paluzzo, yeah, sure, big time, going way back. It wasn't just Carl; he had a bunch of brothers. If you look at a lot of these guys, they had a bunch of brothers. And RJ talked, we kicked around some things before about brothers in that life that were murdered weeks apart or a month apart, and it's compelling to see when you screwed up in that life, they banged at your brother too. So, Carl and Albert too. I'll put two people there, Carl and Albert, Frank Scalish. There's many, Chin. You can keep going down the line. How many guys had a lot of brothers in that life that made them stronger because you could trust family? We have JJ Lambone here, Cloudy Productions. Anybody wants to go on him, he does a great job. So JJ, hello, hope your family's well.
Why was John unable to see through Gravano?
Yeah, he started to. It was just too late. I think sometimes denial, and you'll say he'll change because John had said on tape that he had talked to him, but you weren't going to correct him. Sammy was Sammy, and that was it. John realized too late. You know what? Just anything in life, right? A marriage or whatever, partnership, friendship. You tend to overlook a lot of things if you really like somebody, and you say, "Nah, it can't be." But you know what? In the end, you get hurt the most by doing that because you overlooked a lot of signs. And I think that was John really wrestled with that, I think, at the end. And when he especially was in prison, that he didn't see Gravano through and stop him early on.
So I'm not worried about you going to jail, Sammy. I'm worried about me going to jail. I love you more than I love myself. What do you want? What makes you feel comfortable? You want to be consigliere? You want to be acting boss? I'm going to call these skippers in tomorrow and I'm going to tell them if I'm in the fucking can, Sammy's the boss. What's up with all that?
Rocking him to sleep. Rock the boat. Don't rock the boat, baby. He was putting him to sleep. He was feeling him out, my opinion. He was feeling him out to see how far his greed, how far his aspirations were. But rocking him to sleep. Of course, there had to be conversations, don't forget. He said he was going to pull him up. It's on tape with him talking to Frank Locascio. That he had some, and we're going to have more. So by the time January rolls around with that tape, because we started the tapes end of November, all of December just about. And then January has that conversation. So he has about a month to figure that out, how he's going to talk to Sammy.
Let's see here. Did you have any interactions with Al Diarco? Now, do you want to explain the right way to say it? Because you told us on Patreon his name is not pronounced Al Diarco.
Yeah, Darko. Darko. But everybody says Diarco, like they say D'Angelo instead of D'Angelo.
Any interactions?
Oh, yeah. It was some bookmaking stuff with Jackie Knows. We did a show on this with Frank Logano. It was Fat Dom, Frank Logano, bookmakers, and they had a big beef. And Jackie didn't take Dom. He took me to sit down with Al at the time. And this is when everybody was off the street when he was running things out. We went to his restaurant, La Donna Rosa, I think the name it was. We went there and he took us into the basement and we met with him over that. He wasn't, I'll expand on it, Leslie. He wasn't happy we were there to talk about bookmaking money beef. He says he's in this position right now. You straighten that out like on your own. Go to the skip or whatever. And straighten out that level. He went like this. And then like bullets. He wanted to talk about murders and other high level stuff. So we did meet with Frank Logano after that. But Al was there was another thing. I didn't meet directly with him, but Philly Mordecai had owed gas pipe $100,000. And after he gas flipped, Jimmy Brown went to go, because Philly was in his crew, went to go see Al, and they cut it to $50,000. And then when I got him, I sent $25,000 over to Al, and he took it. So I squashed Philly Mordecai's death for $25,000. And that wasn't a personal interaction, but an interaction. Now, it leads me to another conversation. Al Diaco had said in his 302s, after he flipped, of course, that Sammy Gravano and myself were the ones to kill Eddie Lino in the 302. I read it. I'm trying to get my hands on this stuff, this 302. Now, where he got that information from is puzzling. Somebody gave me an idea the other day that maybe Gas Pipe had told him that. So I'm going to look into it a little bit further on that. But that was another thing. Al threw a spear at me. I don't know if he lied or he heard it from somebody. But it wasn't true. We didn't kill Eddie Lino. As we know, the Mafia cops did it with Gas. So did Gas tell him that and lie? I don't know. But it's in his 302s. It'd be really creepy if he wanted to put a murder on me. Something he knew I didn't do. So, but people do lie.
I'm surprised Castellano was chosen to be head of the family rather than Neil.
Yeah, Ronnie. I wasn't surprised at all. A lot of people weren't. It was in the state Sicilian. More like a monarchy at that point, even though they were cousins. Kept it in the family. They weren't going to let that go and just give it to Neil.
Did you see Gene? Did Senior see Gene as a threat to his position, and that's why he really didn't let him? Oh my God, take a plea.
Well, you know what? It's you never know. In the treacherous world that it is, no, he definitely sees him as a major loss. It's a quality question, you know, but. He took it. It was a major hit to John when Johnny Cadilla and Jeannie went away, and Angelo died, of course. Angelo was a disaster there, as we know, for the drug case with all the tapes and everything else that went on, and that changed the course of history to Gambino family. But Jeannie and John Cadilla, major hit for him, major.
You know, I'm always wondering, like, what's like the street rumbles? Like, what are you guys saying when you? Man, Gene just got hit with 30. Wow. Man, John got caught on tape. Like, people, like, is that like a major topic of conversation going on? Like, when all those tapes came out and you're hearing John say a lot of stuff, what's people in it, like in the family? Like, is there like anger, like a lot of anger among like people in the family? People don't want to talk about it.
Don't forget, they still have power. I mean, you're going to out now blast the boss in your family. You got clipped. You ain't out now in this small circle. Sure, there was coffee clutch, mob coffee clutch talk about that with people you really trusted. Absolutely. Yeah. How could you say when you hear Paul on tape, you hear John on tape, you hear anybody on tape like that, just incriminating a lot of other people besides yourself? You shudder. Oh, shit. How did he get caught like that? What the hell are they thinking? Sure, that's only natural to think that. And it was when I heard John's stuff. Oh man, you know, they were buried. You know, which led to Sammy hearing it and not liking things he heard about John saying about him, and led to him flipping. So, but Jeannie got more than 30 years. Him and Johnny Canadian, they got 40, 45 years. They didn't get 30. They did 30, but they got more. They got more than that. They could have probably took 9 years. I think it was under double digits. Some of the things that were thrown around on a plea deal. So yeah, it was a big, huge loss for John.
You said something interesting. John getting caught on tape led to Sammy flip. Say John wasn't caught on tape, but he was arrested and they were facing the same stuff. Does Sammy still flip?
You mean all those murders?
Because Sammy, does Sammy flip no matter what when he's facing those big?
Yep.
It wasn't so. Even if there was no tapes or playback, or he's angry with John, he would have flipped on John.
Yep, no question. That's all nonsense. Look, he talks about being thrown under the bus. Oh, by the way. I'll get into this now a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. Why would he want to create a narrative, an excuse narrative that John was going to throw him on the boss has got to go free, Sammy, and I'm going to blame you for everything. That's fantasy land stuff. The tapes are there. You can never get away from. He created that because he needed an excuse to flip. Instead of saying, I'm out of here, I am not doing 3-4 life sentences. I'm flipping. He created this narrative, because it never was told before. This is all brand new, the last 4 years. So yeah, he would have flipped. Absolutely. You don't create an excuse. Just say you flipped. You couldn't do the time. That's it. But he had to lie. Now, does he lie to the mirror? He lies to the mirror too. So, but that's just him. He lies about everything lately. But an attorney came to see me the other day, and it was attached to the case. And he watched that video. That's what prompted him to come and see me. He was there right from the beginning when John first got arrested. And he never knew John. Somebody put him in the case. Ben Bronfman. Shargell and Bronfman put him in the case. Two high-powered guys, as we know. Anybody from New York knows their status. And he told me, Michael, that's all a lie about Sammy. And he knew Sammy well. He says, you had it right. You had it all right, and so did Cardinelli. He says, he's a liar. I forgot all about the payment.
Yeah,
so,
I remember.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get him on. I don't know. He's still out there defending people, so I'm not going to mention his name. But he said that I think I gave enough up that people may figure out who he is. But he says Sammy's a liar.
Yeah, I like when you said before about, once you start getting those bodies piled up, you start knowing in your head, I could get the chair. That was one of the better perspectives that you told me, because you were saying you think sometimes people decide before they're even busted that when they get me, this is what I'm going to do. I think you told me that before. They kind of know, like Gas Pipe. I think you said you think he always knew he was going to flip.
Yeah. He had books and records. What do you books? You're on the land for murders and everything else. You're carrying books and records. Who wants to carry that? Who wants to have if you get arrested, you're just going to hand it to him like he did. Hand it to him. Books and records about construction jobs. Hell out of here. He had in his head he was going to flip. He knew what Gravano did. You think he wasn't thinking that?
Did you know Vic Musso's brother Bobby?
No, I think I met him once. Yeah, no, I didn't know Bobby. He was from Howard Beach, I believe. He lived in Howard Beach.
We get this question a lot, but the answer is no. You want to say it again? Did you ever meet Jimmy Burke? Very common question. Do you think there will be problems for the new generation Mafia with all these older guys getting released from prison?
No. Nope. Not at all. There can be no problems. Those guys you're doing 30 years, you may get back into the life, which I was surprised a little bit, supposedly with some guys. But I don't think there's be any problems at all. Why would you want to get? Well, look at Sonny Franzese, right? Right back in. So died in jail. So you never know. You never know. But I don't think there'll be
I don't think he died in jail, did he? He died. No, he was out.
He died free.
Yeah, he got out. Like he didn't live much longer though. He got out. He met. That's when he was meeting with Sandra Petty and talking about some stuff. No, he died free. He wasn't. But he got out. I mean, he got out in his like 90s, I think. Got busted trying to like extort pizza and strip clubs and stuff. And then he went back in and he got out he might have been out a year or two before he died. And then he died.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
It's like when a guy goes to jail and they were carrying beepers and they come out like, I gotta go get me a beeper, and there's no more. Hey, brother, you've been away for a long time. So when the way Franzese came out, like back to business. Nah, brother, it don't work that way no more.
Here's a good question for Bruno. That Michael, do families have roster books? Absolutely. They have rosters for each family. Yep.
If Gene was on the street when John went away, would John name him acting boss over Junior?
100%. Who killed Frankie Botts? Oh, yeah, I think I know who did that. I don't have any proof, but instinct.
Didn't Gotti take a plea for the McBratney murder, but he wouldn't allow his guys to take pleas as boss? The hypocrisy is staggering.
Yeah, I agree. And also, you don't even have to go back that far. Other guys in John's tenure did take pleas, including his son. But there were guys who took pleas. Reno for one. Joe Watts, Pat Down, Lou Studo, Billy Bizzara. I mean, I could keep going with a list.
RJ and Michael, please both answer. What did you think of Auto Nights?
You first. You're a youngster.
It was good. It was okay. I don't think. See, the problem with all these mob movies is that people go into them expecting Goodfellas every time. Oh my god, I want another one of those. But I liked it, but I don't know that it's like older time. It's a different time. It goes all the way back to Genovese and Costello, but it kind of had an Irishman-ish feel to me, the way it felt. I wouldn't say it was a great movie, and I wouldn't say it was a bad movie. I just would give it like a moderate score. If I was doing 5 stars, I would say it's 3.5 stars. What do you think, Michael? Well, I don't think you saw it yet, right?
I'm not going to say it. Who's the actor in there? Robert De Niro?
Yeah.
I'm not watching.
He played he played every mob movie.
I liked him then. I don't like him no more.
Okay.
All right. And Paul said he came on. He was the one with the Jimmy Burke question. He's got a different name. Okay. Axel has a question right here. You see it 3:14 p.m.
Who's the person?
Axel, AKXILIE, Axel.
If John was killed by the West Side along with Frankie the Chico, what would have happened?
Jimmy Brown would have been the boss. Guys would have been whacked out in between that. There would have been bodies. Queens guys wouldn't have let that go. But Jimmy Brown would have been the boss. No question. Now, does other guys, Queens faction, bang him out? Yeah, big possibility. Jimmy may be there for a short term.
Did Gotti Sr. or Jr. or Sammy a 10+ funeral?
No.
Isn't that kind of customary?
Junior, no, it used to be no more.
You kill a guy, show up at the funeral.
Yeah, he was in the 20s or teens. They did that. But Junior was not a zero player at that time. Junior was not a player at all in any way, shape, or form. Buster Stacks, I had interaction with 282 Construction. Buster, get together with Joel and Frankie.
Okay, let's see. Did you have any interactions with the Chinatown gangs like Ghost Shadows?
Yeah, we did that one already. I think that was one of the first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, SWP 15. I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to take a swipe. Southwest Pennsylvania or Southwest Philly 215. And what gave you away is the exchange. 215 is the area code, I think, for Philly, right? Or Pennsylvania somewhere. You see the 316?
36. What's the name of the person again?
I think it's Southwest Philly 215. See if I got it that right.
Yeah, I got it. Michael, did you see this ridiculous episode of My Thing where Sammy says it was Louis' fault the bartender got killed? He really does make himself the hero on every story.
Yeah, we did on Patreon. I don't know if we released anything like that on YouTube, though, but definitely on Patreon. We did a whole show on debunking Sammy's theory about that. He's a liar, and you're right. You see right through him. It's 100% lie. Louis was mad at him for killing the guy, not the other way around. Matter of fact, he contradicts himself several times in his own videos because he's done multiple videos on that, and he's contradicted himself. So he's he made that whole story irrelevant. That's a good one. He wants his perfect attendance medal. You got a cigar?
You're not going to answer this, but is Joe Watts still active?
You know what? I active as far as like he was in the past, definitely not. Definitely not. Does he go to dinner with people? He does. But he has this influence factor or impact on the Gambino family and other families. Nah.
Michael, maybe you can't even answer this, but maybe you can. Do you know what families were still you would know for sure in 2002 when you left, by the time you were out of the life? Do you know what families around the country? Because at one time there was 30 families in the country.
Yeah.
Do you know in 2002, like, if you don't want to say the names, maybe the number? Do you know how many families were left in 2002?
Well, there was that small little contingent in California with Pete Milano, right, in Chicago, of course. There was a small, tiny contingent in Cleveland, Detroit, Buffalo, right? But we know about Canada. They're still doing some nasty stuff up there. Florida, the tiny bit, Tampa. New Orleans, as far as I know, when I was there, I told you a little story. There was like a couple of guys left. With Giorgio Rimini told me he met with some of those guys that if he would have caught up with me, he would have wanted me to meet them. So Tampa, a little bit. Now you're talking about small, like under 10 guys per family. New Jersey, of course, right? Philly, of course, right? Chicago, when I say Chicago. Scranton. Scranton had a few guys. Billy D'Elia, right? Pittsburgh had a few guys there. I don't know if they went into the Billy. Not sure. I think that's all I can think. I can remember. If anybody else wants to volunteer to ask me something, throw it at me.
Did you say Cleveland?
Oh yeah, small contingent. I was in Cleveland, so I know.
Now, one of the things because I asked you before about this when I was still on Black Handprint, and you said there could be some old crews lingering around, so I took that theory and I made a whole show on the difference between a crew and a family. A family is like a functional thing with a hierarchy, administration, a voting panel, things like that. A family is like a serious thing. So I was kind of taking this position that, I got 200,000 views on that show and took a lot of heat, but I was saying, because you said it could be a few guys, and that's what I was positioning, that because you got a group like, say, in Boston, or say the Patriarchas or something.
Oh, I got Boston. I left that one out. Good.
All right. Because if you got 8 guys that came together from what's left of the remnants of a family, but they were all in the family at a point, and they're functioning together, sharing things, sharing resources, functioning. That's more like an old crew doing shit than that is a hierarchy, a structure of a boss, a conciliere, administration with a series of captains and soldiers underneath. That's a fully functioning thing. Would you say some of these on the list were just old crews working together to make some bucks, not really like a family necessarily that was functioning with the administration?
Yeah, in a sense, but technically, when you're there, it's part remnants of a family that was vibrant at one time, right? And like Pete Milano, I think he had like 7 guys. He was the boss. His brother was the underboss, I believe. I met a Captain Lou, really nice guy under him, and a couple of soldiers. But that's about it, you know. And is it a family? Yeah, he's the boss. But is it more like just a crew? Yeah, because there is really no true hierarchy of boss under boss concierge, several captains, 30 or 40 soldiers. That makes up more of a family mentality.
Yeah,
It's more of a crew, but still deemed family. But your point is solid.
yeah.
It's just a matter of what the technicality of family is there. Like
That's
I don't
always.
know about New England, but they're vibrant family.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of was kind of. I remember when Sammy told that story about. I always use it as my example when him and John had that sit down with the boss of the New Orleans family, and John looked over and said, "How many guys are in the family?" And the boss, six guys. It was 6 guys. The whole thing was 6 people in New Orleans. But they still felt like we're doing this. Hey, this is we're not bringing. And they said we're not making no new guys. We're not going to make nobody else. So they were accepting that it was going to crumble,
Right.
that it was going to go away.
True.
You're not making no new guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Elliot, quick. Let me answer Elliot real quick. I see this. Who's the guy walking me? That's Eric Franz. He's an attorney. He was one of my attorneys in Atlanta, and the girl was an attorney, also one of my attorneys. Stacy Levy, I believe her name was. I remember she was there only short term. But Eric stayed through the whole trial. Eric is a good attorney. Deep researcher, very, very good research. We plowed through all Greg's tapes, 7,000 hours of tapes plus all the stuff we had. Excellent. He helped me win that case.
Carlos is here. Carlos, I'm dropping a link. He called me today. He said, RJ, I'm finally going to pop on and say hi. Carlos, you can come on for a minute and say hi to Michael. Well, you guys want to hear a funny story about Carlos? He calls, it's John Jr.'s birthday. And Michael gets a phone call from Carlos. And he says, I got this random call, RJ, whatever it'll be 214. 214. And something else happened. There was 3 214s in one day. It was John's birthday. Carlos called from a 214 number, and something else happened that was 214. And Michael said, I'm going to play the number, and won $5,000 because the number came out 214. It was 5,000, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, that's a good story.
Some luck.
Yeah. Do you technically owe Junior a piece?
He could come and get it. That's my draw.
10% or what?
Yeah, 10%. That's tipping fee. Sure, I give
Junior.
That's right.
That's how you say it. Junior. I got 500 for you.
I gave the girl 200 the county.
Okay. Yeah, but the boss is paid off the top. It don't matter what you bust down. It ain't he's not paid from what you got left. He's paid from the top number.
Yeah, but he said he's not the boss no more. He gets
but you said he's still your brother, right? You said once you get your fingers pinched, you're always brothers.
100%. But he's not a boss no more. That's it. We're on equal terms now. More ways than one. Don't get mad.
Oh my God, that's gonna make.
What would his place have been under the Gotti regime? Oh, that was tentative. Because Frankie DeChico didn't like Nino. Nino didn't like Frank. But Nino at that time was a no-win situation. I think Nino had just been a soldier, and if he behaved, they would have bumped him up. Nino was too valuable of a guy. He was new to life. Just that he was on the wrong side with John and Frank. Bruno Sammartino. You're an old guy, SCC. See?
What do you miss most about the life?
Oh, everything. I missed everything. Good, the bad, the ugly. I loved it at that time.
The adrenaline of knowing you can die every day.
You got to do something wrong to die,
No, you said you don't have to do something wrong in that life
Yeah,
to die.
I know, but when you do something wrong,
No,
so
I'm messing
you
with
live
you.
with that.
Carlos, what's up?
Going on? What's going on? How you
Hi,
doing,
Chris.
Michael?
Great, brother. Great. And you? Where you at? Kansas City?
I'm, I'm no. I was asking. Didn't Kansas City have a family?
Oh, yes, yes. This I think it was the Sevillas, if I way
Yeah.
back. I don't know if they're still active. I don't think they have any guys. I'm not sure. I haven't heard that. But yeah, you're right. You're right on point. Yeah, absolutely. St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Yeah. The Hill. Go up to the Hill.
I
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I'm
got
at the
bad.
shop right now.
yeah, we're not hearing you too good, brother.
Yeah, the reception's off, brother. I can't. You're cutting in and out. Yeah, he's frozen. All
He's
right.
got us. He's got to
Well,
go.
Carlos, if you can hear us, thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate you, brother. I'll give you a call after the show. I met Carlos through the show, and he has become a great friend to me. We talk all the time. Actually, when he's driving up from Texas on Tuesday, 2 days from now, we're having dinner together. So I'll see you Tuesday. We have dinner multiple times. I had dinner with Carlos multiple times. So we became friends from Patreon. So
That's
all
such
right.
and he says Danny Marino, Jimmy Rod Danny Marino should John have been worried about John Gotti should have been worried about John Gambino. No, I think Johnny Gambino wasn't really too upset after Paul got killed. Don't forget the business everybody was in. Caesar Bonaventure, SS. Yeah, I met Caesar. I had zero interaction with him. I wasn't a wise guy at the time, but you know who Caesar was when he was in Naples.
Michael, forget about Jimmy Brown and Danny Marino. I think John should have worried about the 18th Avenue crew with John Gambino. What do you think?
Yeah, I just answered that one.
Okay. Did you know Lou Ferranti?
Never heard of him. I heard of him now, but then no, not at all. Hey,
You
listen,
like-
maybe he could knock off the rust for me. Maybe there is a time I met with him in his company. I'm not gonna say he just don't stand out to me as somebody I interacted with business or hung out or played ball with or something like that. But maybe he could knock the rust off. Maybe I did meet him.
He's
What the hell?
I know him because he endorsed. He's one of the guys that endorsed my book. If you go like anywhere my book is sold, as a quote from him, he gave a good review on it also. So my publisher reached out to him for an endorsement, and he endorsed. And he wrote like an international bestseller with his book Mob Rules. So getting him his name is in the literary world, he got some weight there as far as so he endorsed my book.
Well, that's very
yeah,
nice.
Gentleman. I talked to him just for that. Yeah. Michael, did you ever tell RJ to call me Elliot?
I'll let you answer that.
Did you? I don't know.
Yes.
You did?
Says you never call his name. You never use his name. And
What do I call him?
Elliot. You never said Elliot.
Oh, I just read the question.
Or I think there was something in the comment section.
Oh.
See, I try to use everybody's name when I answer them.
I got you. What's up, Elliot? Michael, are you pumped up about the Knickerbockers? What a run. They have had to get to the conference finals. Go Knicks. I'm assuming, RJ, you're a Sixers fan, right?
Yeah, you go first.
No, I'm not. Well, I have gone to Sixers games and stuff, but I started as a Bulls fan. I migrated into a Lakers fan, and now I can't even say I have a favorite team. So,
and for myself, I don't follow basketball at all. I'll look at the box score with who won what games. Coming from New York, yeah, I'll root for them, but I'm not a passionate fan at all in hockey world and in the basketball world. See, I'm Italian. And the Italians have that disease to prohibit us from playing basketball. It's called shortitis. When you have shortitis, you can't compete in the basketball world. So unless you're Muggsy Bogues, if I remember the name from the past, how I know, I was betting everything at that time. I didn't know what the basketball team was. So when you're involved in gambling, I was betting everything. So I remember him.
Have you ever been shot at?
Yeah. Several times.
Really?
Yeah.
You never told me that. Now we have a show.
No, not by Italians. It was a fight at a club one night that we were outside, and I was up the block from Visage and just started unloading. Missed everybody, thank God. But came back around. We got in our cars and left. He wasn't really mad at us. He was mad at other guys. They were just standing next to us. And then another guy, I gave a guy a beating out in New Jersey. And he set up across the street from the highway and was shooting at me when I went to the parking lot.
Can you talk more about the meeting with Big Louie in the basement after Sammy flipped? You mentioned before.
Yeah, Louis, tough guy. He showed up. Yep. And it was in Milano's restaurant on 18th Avenue. Jimmy Brown was there. Jackie Knows, myself, Junior. I think there was another cap in there. He'll come to me. But we'll call Louis in just to feel him out. And Louis came readily, put his balls right up, right in the basement. No issue.
$2 donation, Mikey Gaga. Not sure what that means.
Hey, Muggsy, what's happening? Muggsy. Thank you, Muggsy.
Isn't the life all about protecting the higher ups like the Army?
Yeah, but there were a lot of criminals. Hey, even the Army, don't they have friendly fire? Oops, remember the guy? What the hell was his name? He was St. Louis Cardinal. What the hell was his name? He went into, I think it was in the Middle East, and he got banged out. They thought he got murdered by his own guys. So these things happen. Yeah, you're supposed to protect your family, to answer your question. Of course, yes.
Was there a new law?
Pat Tillman.
Was there a new law Trump passed that's letting all these old guys, helping all these old guys to get out of prison? I heard there are many coming home with no rehab. What are they going to do? They are all killers.
Yeah, it's the First Step Act. It's not only Italians; it's everybody. It's in the federal prison system through the First Step Act. It goes through a process, a vetting process, but you can get out. And the guys that were murdered, I'm going to say 99 out of 100 guys, if they were murdered, just to take an arbitrary number, just to make the percentages small, weren't serial killer murderers that if you let them out in the street, they're going to go back to killing people. These people ordered, involved in the life, got caught up with somebody they wanted to shut up and murdered them. It wasn't somebody that had the necessity, the need to kill, that you're letting somebody out that needs to kill, like a rapist, a child molester. These are sick people. They can't help themselves. Those are the people who got to die. But most mob guys just follow orders or protect themselves by eliminating somebody. Just not the need to kill them. If I'm clear about that. So I have no issue.
Did you know if Bosco or the Westies were also involved in the drug business?
Oh, yeah. I don't know about Bosco, the Westies, absolutely. Sure. Part of their issues.
Did you go to Neil's funeral?
Yes.
I don't want to say the particular show because I don't want someone to replicate it on YouTube. But if you guys want to see a really good show, one of the better shows we've ever done, there was a major funeral. And Michael identified a lot of people that I'm sure you guys have never seen before, seen them move in, seen their body language, seen their mannerisms. And I've watched footage a million times before, but never knew. I'm talking like big time guys that we don't even hardly have photos of. So if you want to see a good show about a major funeral, we played the whole funeral and we identified a bunch of people, and it's one of our better shows on Patreon. I was like a kid at the candy store in that show.
It was a pretty good production. Also, going back to one of the questions, who killed Frankie Botts? Some people saying on here that Joe Watt. I think that's coming from Sammy. One guy, William Milburn. Good to see you, William. He said that Frankie was stabbed like 50 times. Yes, he was stabbed a lot. A lot of times. He let somebody in his house that he trusted. That's all I'll say right now.
That Sammy buy and sell drugs from gas pipe.
Well, that's the rumor. That's what was out there, and I think that's in whatever leaked out of gas pipes material, that they were partners in some stuff. Don't forget, Sammy had guys go away to prison with a drug boat. They're very close to him. Nobody talks about that, but that's a fact.
Do you not like De Niro because he's anti-Trump?
No, it has nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with his view on things going on in schools and trans and all that stuff. I don't believe that. That's a whole other thing. I don't want to piss anybody off. But my belief is, guys don't belong in women's sports. And no guy's going to, if I had a daughter, no guy's going to walk in the bathroom when she's there. I don't care what he's got on. That I'm getting locked up. So he believes in all that stuff, and that's why I don't like him. It has nothing to do with Trump. If there was no such thing as Trump and he believed in that, I still wouldn't like him. So it's not political; it's position. But I don't like his position on things.
Who was the guy with you in the sunglasses walking out of the Atlanta trial? You were walking down the steps. Elliot.
Yeah, I answered that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, something about Russians. Here, let me see. Russia,
if Paul Castellano did not get killed and had to go in that RICO trial, do you think he would have flipped?
Yes. Yep. He wasn't leaving all that money and his maid and everything else. So he had diabetes. So he had to. I don't think Paul would have been able to handle dying in jail. That's my opinion.
And he had that fresh penile implant and that new young girl, Gloria Alarte.
Yeah, that's a lot. No humor involved in this. I think it has a lot to do with it. I think he really loved that girl.
He did. Sammy said
he had anybody. The guy's worth hundreds of millions.
Sammy said when they came out the house, the Chico said, "Sammy, are you effing crazy? He'll kill me and you for that broad." The fifth Cadillac and the driveway is Gloria's, and Gloria dictates the Big Paul's wife now.
Nina was a good woman. Paul's wife, Nina, was a good woman.
Did you ever see Gloria, the actual real Gloria?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I went up to Paul's house.
I saw her in a couple of documentaries. Yeah. Not the typical mob gumata.
By a long shot.
I mean, the furthest you can go is Polynesian, I hear.
He was better off.
She cooked well.
She would have stood up, I think, too.
Yeah, she was a the FBI guy who arrested him had him in the back seat. And Paul, when he was leaving, he talked to him and he said Paul didn't look well. And he said he remembers when he shook hands with Paul. He said his hands were like wet, like just so like he was perspiring so much. And he said, I remember being so surprised, like this is his big time mafia boss, one of the most powerful men in the country. And here he is, all nervous and scared and is so worked up that he has so much anxiety. He's like perspiring, his hands all wet. And he said it was surprising to him to see that kind of guy have that kind of fragility, essentially.
Yeah. I think he was vulnerable at the time. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's this question? Mike, this from Axel. Axel, I hope I got it right. Michael, if you had to guess what John and Frankie told Jimmy Brown when they called him out of his house in his pajamas and slippers. No clue. I think they just told him the way it is. If that's going to be my question, that you'll be all right. This is the way it is. I'm pretty sure. John Campanella, John Beansy went to his house and he told me the story, not Frankie. Johnny Beans told me the story. He's the one that pulled him out of the house.
Let's see. Wasn't there? Why wasn't the family broken up into areas? You have guys born next door and in other families.
Yeah, it's who you hung out with, who you came up under, in New York, especially 5, and then one in Jersey, where at one time John says you can't to the Jersey people you can't straighten out anybody from New York anymore. Staying in New Jersey, you straighten people out. But yeah, there's kids that grew up into men and they wound up in different families. Brothers also. My brother wound up with the Columbos later on.
What significance or role did my grandpa play in the life, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah. Sally Barbado was very involved in the local 282 in the construction business. He worked for Philly Scala in Scaramix, the concrete plant in Staten Island. He worked there for him and was a conduit to everybody. Your grandfather was in many grand juries, called to many grand juries when Paul Castellano was the boss. And then later on with John, I had Sally with me when I was handling the construction later on. Understand me too. He was at many grand juries, a member of 282. He got thrown out just like me, Eddie Garafola, and a whole bunch of other people. Yeah, he was a good guy. Yeah, he's an integral part of passing messages to people and handling 282 business.
Any dealings with Teamsters Local 560?
Not me directly, but other people, yeah, I'm sure. All the Teamster locals really dealt with each other one way or another.
If there was another Paulie G situation where a wise guy is shoved, do you think they would pay with their life in today's time? If not, where is the line drawn with keeping everyone in check?
Oh, it's not a guess. This is a fact. It's happened. Banana people. Nobody's killing nobody at the funeral.
Real guy on the shelf punched a captain and then brought his own biker defense team and they beat their asses. And the guy lives in the same house, same street, grocery shops in the same store. It's over, guys. Don't stop listening to me and Michael battle a little bit on this, but guys, stop believing these guys on here are trying to make you believe that, hey, no, this thing's over. It's over. It's a club now.
Yeah. I agree.
It's a club. They have the names and the labels, but it's a club. It's nobody. It's over. Do you ever get made and become a capo if John doesn't kill Paul?
Everything.
No question. Do you, Michael, ever get made and become captain?
I don't know. Who knows? With through attrition, there's always a vacuum, even if there's no violence. Guys get old, guys go to jail, and it's almost like a political position at times. Your proximity to the boss could get you that position, even if you don't have the whereabout to hold that position. As we know in the past, guys get appointed there because of loyalty. I don't know. I'm not too sure.
Jeff asked me now when I was on his show, and I said 100%. My suspicion is you would have been the captain of the Garofalo crew. I mean, you're the Leonardo, so you're rite of passage. You're 100% getting made. There's no guy. It's very rare a guy like you would not get made unless you did something that would take like one of the Chico people. But as long as you kept your then do nothing out of bounds, they're going to make you. So you're getting made. So you're at least a soldier. and you're right there with Paulie Zach and the Lilo crew, most likely you become the captain of that crew, no matter who's there, I would think.
I would have liked that. That was nostalgic. I would have liked to make
Yeah.
it go over in time. Yeah.
That was your grandfather's crew, right?
Yeah. It would have was full circle to over 100 years before.
Yeah, so it would make sense. And Lilo liked you. The people in that crew liked you. You had good relationships. You're from the neighborhood.
Yeah, I think I'll take a guess. If I was made at the time before Frankie DeChico gets killed, right? And when Frankie told me about that conversation that they were having about who they're going to put in a skipper, right? I wasn't made yet. Frankie's having this conversation with me. I think if I was made at that time, I would have been in the tutelage phase of how to run a crew. I think he would have made me a captain then. My opinion. Why have the conversation with me? Well, Giovanni, the question is, it's more of a statement. I'm going to change your question into a statement. Yes, it's very bad to have a boss have a bad gambling problem. Absolutely. And that's the problem with Albert, Anastasia, the same thing. Yes, I agree.
Oh, I see what he was saying now. I just want you to call me Elliot because it makes me think you have no idea how long I've been a Patreon. Oh, I know all of our long members, brother. But that's cool. I'll call you Elliot. So thank you.
There's Brad. Brad here. Brad McLadies. Oh, 5:30 in the morning. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think he popped up and said he had to go.
Yeah, he's in Australia. I just seen this. There you go. Gasoline Governor. His father hung out with Paulie Zach and Jimmy Brown in the club, the original club on 80th Street and 17th. He knows a lot from my childhood. Yeah.
I actually owe Michael now. It was 3. I now owe him 2 because I just won a recent bet. And I have
no bet. You didn't win no bet. Don't even go there.
I have the proof on a recent appearance. You guys can check it out. Me and Michael appeared on a radio show in San Diego, and Michael was asked a question, and he stated his positioning on files not being released, that he was expecting to be released. So I now have the proof, guys, that Michael owes me one steak.
That's not my opinion. It's not proof. You're back up to 3. And if you keep it up, we're going to charge interest on it.
Now, Michael did say one doesn't cancel the other. So,
yeah.
But you did say one doesn't cancel the other. So I still owe you 3, but you owe me 1.
No. That don't work. Nope. You lost.
See, I'm very. I'll just pay my bet. You're talking your way out of your bet.
No, it's a fact. The files are released. They're released. That's it. That's what they said. The government said they released the entirety. I don't have the key to the archive vault and pull it open and say, hey, there's more files in there.
But it's not what you said in that show.
No, it's my opinion. My opinion is, in fact, that what the government's telling you, they're all released. They didn't say we're holding back 1 page, then you would win.
Well, I have a plan. See, you like to buy me steaks anyway.
I like to buy you Johnny Walker Blue.
I got a bunch of stuff you like to. So the next time you're buying me a steak, I'm gonna order a second one. Can I have 2 this time, please?
I get my allowance this week, so you're on.
Did you like the Gold Club?
I was only there a handful of times, but you know what? It's put the girls on the side, right? I don't know how you could do that, but put the girls on the side a minute. Stevie ran a great operation. Very good. Clean. There was food. There was what else he had? He had a sushi bar in there. Hamburgers. He really ran a great operation. The rooms were gorgeous. Really, really nice club. And you walked in there, it wasn't seedy at all. Now, Atlanta, if anybody was there or anybody frequented Atlanta, their strip clubs, they were all seedy. Very bad. But Steve had a really high-end place inside. It was really good. He did some job. Ribeye, Tommy. Like all the fat in the bone. It's got to have a bone. It's not a steak for me.
Filet mignon, center cut. So it's no fat on that one.
You're an aristocrat. See, there you go. You're an aristocrat. Good thing you didn't win the bet.
Michael
No,
gets a bone-in ribeye every time, and half of it is the bone. And my funny, I always watch you at the end. You scour all the meat off of it, and then I see you with your knife, and you're trying to like cut some more meat off, trying to like, almost cutting out the bone.
but you know what? I'm so frustrated. I want to pick that thing up and eat it right off the bone. You got to pick it up and eat the bone. You got to do that.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike Caruso, why don't you tell us how you really feel about the deal?
Final question: how close were you to Frankie the Chico?
Oh, really close. Yeah, he knows me since when I was born. And
They got us, Michael. They got us chopping people up now.
that close.
Stop volunteering for murders. They're gonna make you chop somebody up.
All through the course of time when he was alive, and I was an associate, he put his nephew Frankie onto me. He says, "You handle that, Frankie." He put Frankie Maricondo, who wound up getting murdered. I got him onto me, and then he put Frankie Fabiano, which later became my brother-in-law. He made me handle him when he got the job in the local 23. So we were close. He got mad at me, real mad at me one time, but then it fixed itself.
Good questions. Nobody had to delete nobody. Nobody had to. No, it was nobody in here attacking. Nothing. Good show. Very fun show. I'm glad everyone is here. Join us on Patreon. $9.99. It's going to feel like a giveaway. If you just come to one meet and greet, it covers you're going to have a meal and food and drinks that's going to be less.
Yeah.
That's going to pay for itself for the whole year. Everybody has our phone numbers. Michael, how many messages you get a day from Patreon people? I mean, on your phone, text messages, phone calls.
Well, I've given probably to everybody on the meet and greet that I met.
Yeah.
Personally with, they all have my number. So there's a couple of dozen at least.
I have 196 unread messages right now. 196.
Well, you got some work to do.
I don't even. It's hard for me to like even get back to people. Sometimes it's very difficult. So join us on Patreon. I'll drop a link if anybody would like to join us. Check out my book anywhere books are sold. The Don, and we'll still YouTubers. We'll still be here. We'll still put out pre-records. Thank you for sticking with us.
James goes like cattle is skyrocketing. RJ, pay quick.
I'll be seeing Michael soon, so I might buy a mistake. So
maybe an issue. Why do you think there hasn't been a movie or real documentary on Carl Gambino? You know what? A lot of I'll do real quickly. A lot of documentaries that are made about older guys, they really don't have the people to give them the real insight about them. So it's really superficial documentaries at best with some of these guys, or they have people just making up stories about them. You're right. There really hasn't been anything good about Carl or anybody for that matter. Now, Joe Banana, he's out there. You really don't need a movie about him. He opened his mouth enough and has a book. But there are other guys that are out there, and the older the bosses were, there's nobody really tell the story the way it is. But that's a good one. And I think if they start with family trees, would speak volumes of the networking that most of these guys had going back. But RJ's got to go. Yeah, I remember the 1717, the bagel store, of course. Yes. But thank you for being here.
No, I don't have to go. I just try to keep about 1 hour to 1:15. No, because I follow. See, you get to be this. I check all the analytics, all the views, all everything, and I know what people do. I see it as soon as the number hit the certain number, it's like the viewership turns off. People stop watching it. It hurts the performance of the show. So, yeah.
There's a lot of Steve on here, Snake, Catholic Tool, Domino America. Yeah, Benedictibus. Yeah, thank you. We appreciate all of yous on here. And We'll see you soon. Hopefully, maybe we could do another one in a week or so on YouTube. God bless. Be well. Enjoy your day. Keep smiling, everybody.
Peace and love.